Welcome to Sinister Heroes. I'm your host, Danny Iniquitous. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, this is a channel about Dungeons and Dragons where we try and take a darker tone with everything we do here. So if you like edgier kind of content, definitely hit that like and subscribe button. A big thank you to our Patreon supporters. We love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. What you do is amazing. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon supporter, check the link in the description. And also check the link for our good friends Critical Failures, where we're part of a live stream that goes on every Wednesday. With all that out of the way, we're going to jump into this week's video, and we're going to talk about the Loxodon. The Loxodon come to us from Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. They are giant elephant people. They're between 7 and 8 feet tall. They look kind of like Babar, if you're old enough to remember who Babar was. They are usually very calm and lawful and good species, but again, we don't really enjoy that as much, so we kind of deviate from that. But the Loxodon are very, like, they are a presence. They're so big and noticeable, and they have all these great like attributes that kind of make them very like, you know, a Loxodon is in the area. On top of the fact they are super rare, so if you're a DM and you're seeing a Loxodon, and like really have that moment, like this, they're super rare normally, but if you're not playing in Ravnica, then you really don't ever see these kind of creatures. So it's something that you should really take a moment and be like, whoa, and like have that kind of impact, because it makes their player A, feel great about it, and B, it's a great way for people to interact with the party. It's a great reason, like if things are going slow and you need someone to say something or do something, having an NPC walk up to a Loxodon is like, whoa, that's, what are you? Like, it's a great way to segue into plot hooks and stories like that. Don't ever miss an opportunity to confront your players about something, especially when you have a moment where you're trying to connect a silent moment into like an actual impact. But from there going on, the world of Ravnica is important to note as itself. So anybody who plays Magic the Gathering, that's kind of where D&D and Magic the Gathering meet. They both exist in the same world. Like, Ravnica is the actual part where everything from kind of Magic the Gathering kind of comes and exists and kind of interacts with each other. It is a great setting for political intrigue campaigns, because you can keep everything very well contained in that area, and there's all the different factions and organizations that exist, and some of them are crazy, some of them are good, some of them are just like just a horror show on wheels, some of them are like lawful, some of them are just mad scientists. Like, it's a great sequence where you have these established guilds and they have to interact with each other, and you can really set up a great political intrigue campaign through that setting. It's very, very cool. I don't think it ever gets as much like play as it should. I think people kind of just don't understand the concept. But a lot of times, political intrigue is very niche circumstance in D&D, because a lot of people, you got to build your characters a little bit different. You got to be able to offer something in social events and adventuring more so than you need combat. Combat is kind of on a lower scale in a political intrigue kind of campaign, which is something you don't see a lot, because you can't do super overpowered builds, because you won't get to use them as often, so they won't feel as impactful. Loxodon again is a elephant person, so you are very big. You are 7 to 8 feet tall, and you are anywhere between 300 and 400 pounds, which is a little smaller than you'd expect. Your base walking speed is 30 feet, and you are medium. But you do gain power for build. You count as one size larger when determining your carrying capacity and the weight you can push, drag, or lift. You also have something called Loxodon Serenity. You have advantage against being charmed or frightened. It's important to note in the flavor text for the Loxodon, one of the things they say is, there are 3 things all wise men fear: the sea and storm, a night with no moon, and the anger of a gentle man. And that's kind of some of the impact of dealing with a Loxodon. Like, you're supposed to be pretty well centered. You're not supposed to be really rattled. And being able to have advantage against charmed and frightened kind of really reflects that really well. So this is one of the few species that you kind of want to, oddly enough, stay away from Barbarian unless you happen to be a unique Loxodon, because giving into your emotions and being like a rage monster, though great to have a giant elephant person charging at you, is something that's going a little bit against type with the Loxodon, because you have that like center of like that like strength of spirit where like the outside world has very little impact on your mental and emotional state. You do gain natural armor. You have thick leathery skin. When you aren't wearing armor, your AC is 12 plus your constitution modifier. You can use your natural armor to determine your AC if the armor you wear would leave you with a lower AC. A shield's benefit applies normally while using your natural armor. So a lot of the times when you get natural armor, it's usually dependent on two factors. A, if it's something like the monk or the barbarian, you do get a lower starting AC because it's dependent on two different factors, like constitution and dex, or dex and wisdom. In this circumstance, the fact that it's linked to your constitution is really interesting, because your AC is 12. It's not like the lizard folk that has like a 13 plus its dex. Your AC is 12. So at max constitution you have 17, but your health is going to be significantly higher if you max out constitution. So you are encouraged to be tankier with the Loxodon. You are encouraged to be that kind of up close kind of a character, and you can really reflect that by picking a martial class. Monks kind of fit in the theme here. But anything like a fighter would make a lot of sense, because you're very calm and collected, and having that in combat would be reflective of someone who's trained extremely well, or anyone that really can gain a benefit from being up close. You also gain a trunk ability. You can grasp things with your trunk, and you can use it as a snorkel. It has a reach of 5 feet, and it can lift a number of pounds equal to 5 times your strength score. You can use it to do the following tasks: lift, drop, hold, push, pull an object or creature, open or close a door or a container, grapple someone, make an unarmed strike, and your DM may allow you other simple tasks to be added to a list of options. It can't wield weapons or shields or do anything that requires manual precision, such as using tools, magic items, or performing the somatic components of a spell. Now, this is important to note. It's not listed as any kind of bonus action, so you will need to use your action to actually do any of these things. But flavor-wise, it's a pretty strong appendage. I mean, 5 times your strength is pretty good. If you had, like, that's 50 pounds you can pick up with your nose. It's a great way to, in my mind, it makes sense that you would be able to, if you're a Gish character and you were playing a game where you did need to have a hand free for somatic components, to me it would be considered just some of your movement, just to have the trunk hold your weapon or shield or whatever it was, giving you the free hand you need to cast the spell, and then another movement just to drop the weapon or shield into your hand or whatever it is. That's just me, but this is more so dependent on your DM. A lot of times, I don't see the point in it. Most of it's movement anyway, to kind of stow or pull out your weapons. So really, it's just dropping yourself from taking an extra 5 movement to cast a spell. But that's a personal thing. And you do also have keen smell. Thanks to your sensitive trunk, you have advantage on wisdom perception, on wisdom survival, and intelligence investigation checks that involve smell. So one of the things that's really important about Loxodons is who they are as people. They are super loyal to not just themselves, but to whatever group they find themselves in. And their ideas are absolute to them. So whatever idea they have, they're willing to die for. And it's going to be very difficult for you to sway them. So that, combined with this kind of stoicness to them that you gain from just being calm in all these pressurized situations, you really get this like finite kind of like solid character that's just like serene in this weird kind of world. And that really inspires like a certain kind of character to me. Like you could be, even if you're like super evil and super scary, the fact that nothing gets under your skin makes you seem like you have nerves of steel. The fact that you're super set on your ideas and just will not waver, would rather die than switch what your belief is very, very like, it's almost tyrannical, but like it's such a cool segue into being any kind of a character you want. Like your reason for being an adventurer is this, and you will never sway from that. Your reason for revenge is this, and you will never sway from that. And then this like sense of insane community that they have, where they're super loyal, that they don't doubt each other, or whoever's in this community. And it doesn't have to just be Loxodon. They can be whatever communities they find themselves in, because they're not one of those species that just keeps to themselves. They go out, they join these groups, they find these people that share their ideas, and they fight to the death for them. And that is awesome. That's something that can work on any level, from Thieves Guild to cleric to druid to paladins to warlocks to anything. It really fits into those kinds of lines where you can just be like, I'm part of the military. That's it. All the people in the military are mine to defend, and I will die for them. That is just a solid base for creating a strong character that can have a real impact on the leadership and how the actual game moves forward. That being said, we're going to bring this video to a close. If you've made it this far, definitely hit that like and subscribe button. Definitely check us out on Patreon. Our link is in the description. And a big thank you to our Patreon supporters. We love you guys. Thank you so much. And check out our good friends at Critical Failures, where we all play a streamed game every Wednesday. And thank you for giving a spooky kid a chance.